If you don't have your taxes done yet, please get them to your accountant. They are waiting for them and they are missing you. So please, we'd rather see it now than in a couple weeks. Much time as possible. So that is my shout out to those who don't have their taxes done yet. Hi, and welcome to Accounting with Confidence. I'm Beth Whitworth, and today I'm doing just a very short confidence booster episode, giving you a little bit of an update on where we are now that we have about a month left in tax season. So for us, tax season starts sometime in December as we start doing a whole lot of planning and goes through April 15th, the individual tax filing deadline. And for me, this is my 29th tax season in a row. Very hard to believe that I have been in this area, in this public accounting world for that long already. It happens to coincide with how many years I've been married, how many years we've been in our house. So it's kind of easy to keep track of. So I will say that every single tax season is different. But this one, it really is going okay. I like to think that we are on track. We just wrapped up the business deadlines, had very few extensions that we had to take, mostly on some new clients that were new to us this season and that we actually got during 2025. And so that makes us, we need to take a little extra time and can't always get those filed by the deadline. Now, we have a 100% remote team now. And before this tax season, we've always had an administrative assistant type person in the office and in the brick and mortar storefront that we have. And while I work from home most of the time, I've always maintained an office there. And until this past November, we had someone at a desk there. Now, we finally decided that we wanted to try to make that a remote position and made a hire in November. So this is our first tax season without that point of contact in the office. And it has been, I think, good and bad in some ways. Good in the fact that I think our administrative person is much more productive without having the interruptions of all the people coming in and out of the office. Now, it's not just my office. I share my office space with my husband's company, and he actually has a need for retail space, and he also does service work. So there's a waiting area, there's a checkout counter, there's some production equipment. There's a lot of things going on, and they get a lot of deliveries. So I've noticed when I work there, I tend to notice the interruptions quite a bit. And so working from home is more productive for me. Well, I think that translates into our admin, Becky, also being more productive than being at the office. But we did have to make some changes. We had to try to communicate with our clients up front about what they would experience if they are going to be dropping off tax documents, picking up tax documents. And we have Nathan, who's in the office all the time. He works with my husband. So he's been our point of contact of telling people, okay, yeah, you drop the stuff with Nathan. Nathan locks it up, et cetera, et cetera. We get it notified. We get it scanned in. We get the production going. So that's been a little different, but I think it's still been much more productive having no one in the office and everybody when they're working, not having those interruptions. So that's been something new, and I think it's going well. I love Becky. Becky's been, I can tell she's going to just move into that role of being that right-hand man, kind of keeping me on track and getting a feel for how I work and when I need support and when I need to, someone to just jump in and tell me to take a break. So she's been great. The other thing that we are in is this is our second year using Canopy as our practice management software. And we jumped in last tax season, right before tax season, kind of in that fourth quarter before it, we were able to roll out Canopy. And we were converting from Jetpack Workflow. And we identified Canopy as being the system that we needed to really kind of consolidate a whole bunch of programs that we use. And it's been great. It is actually, we feel like it's holding strong in all filling those needs, and we're getting better at it. And it's been one of those things where it's only as good as the people using it. So if you have someone on your team that just isn't good about using the practice management software, it kind of detracts from and makes other people less productive because you're spending time questioning if something is done or not done. Now, right now, everybody on the team is really good about, using the practice management, using Canopy as their guide for what do they have to get done today, what do they have to get done this week, this month, and working through, checking the checking off the boxes. Because when you are a remote team, it is just absolutely critical that you have a system that can give you some sort of confidence on what work is getting done. And I feel like Canopy has really done that for us and has been a great tool. And in our second year, I'd say we are still very, very happy with it and continuing to move forward with it. I will also say that it is one of those things where as they roll out new things, it might continue to replace other pieces of software. So we're able to do billing out of it. We're also possibly, now going to be able to do proposals out of it, which could eliminate the system that we use for proposals. So I love being in an app that is always sort of forward thinking and looking at the whole picture of what an accounting firm needs. And Canopy has been a really good fit for us. And early on in this tax season, I recognized that for the first time in a long time, maybe ever, I am not checking the due date list daily myself. I finally hired to that skill level, and my unicorn, my right hand person, Sarah, is the one that really manages the due date list, the workflow, who's behind, who's caught up, who has room. And I didn't think I was ever going to get out of that role as a firm owner and being the person that really is responsible for making sure all of the deadlines are met. And I realized this year, really in the last few months, that I'm there. I have I've hired to that skill that I thought I would never be able to. And now that I'm there, it is so much easier for me to do things like focus on things that are assigned to me, not necessarily the things that are assigned to everybody. And it always makes me wonder, how was I getting all of this done in the past? How was I ever keeping up? And I think that when I look at that, I wasn't really keeping up. So if there's any takeaway from this lesson, it's if you feel like you are still managing all of the things, find a way to hire somebody to support you in some sort of management role, because and hire a process person. I will say that. Now, as far as tax season itself and getting returns out, we are on track. We have a few weeks left, and we've sort of pivoted into the individual taxes now will be the main focus for the next few weeks. And I feel like with our big change that we did this year with moving even our individual returns to a subscription, either a month-to-month subscription or a prepaid subscription, where we are not doing any billing really as we are getting returns done, It has made the efficiency of getting returns done much better. It has gotten us, it feels like the information has come in faster. And I don't know if that is either because people who prepaid are like, well, I've already paid for this. I need to just get it done because they kind of have skin in the game, or if it is just we have fewer returns because we did eliminate some clients that didn't come back with us or didn't subscribe. So it feels much smoother, like the information has come in quicker. We may not be turning it around as quick because there has been some delays in getting 1099s out and K1s out from people who are waiting for them. So we're always kind of at the mercy of kind of waiting for information in a lot of cases. But I think that we're on target, and we're not expecting to do a whole lot of extensions. We're not a firm that works on needing those extensions. One, we are either prepaid or on subscription, so spreading out the billing is not an issue for us. The other part of that is that we are a full service firm that does a whole bunch of other stuff. So we have plenty to do other than tax returns the rest of the year. And if this year's anything like last year, we're going to spend the summer onboarding clients, new clients, doing system conversions, doing cleanups and coaching. And that is a lot. I mean, it is a lot. So we hope to not take a lot of extensions. I think overall, I always tell people, I can still name, kind of the worst 2 tax seasons of my entire career. I know what years they were, and nothing has compared. Is even when it's a bad season, nothing is compared. And this season, I would say it ranks pretty high at being a pretty good season. We've had some rough patches. We've made some staffing changes. Like I said, we've gone 100% remote, so there's a little bit of a learning curve for the clients and processes that might be different than they've been in the past. But overall, I think it's been pretty good. And Sarah and I were able to still have a couple of planning days where we got together and are forward looking. We're looking past tax season. Yes, how are we going to get through the rest of the weeks of tax season, but what's next? And we like to meet at least quarterly and really figure out what's next, because as a firm owner, there's always something on the horizon. There's always something that you want to get done and things that you could improve, or in my case, things that we can continue to take off of my plate that we can start to develop processes for. Now, I'm not a process person. I'm an accountant through and through, but I am not your typical accountant who is generate the process and stick to the process and do everything the same way all the time, which is how I'm an accountant who ended up with a podcast. I have a creative bent. I am more of I like to do the coaching. I like to do the training. I like to do the troubleshooting. There's a lot of pieces to accounting that I really love, but creating a process isn't one of them. So as we look into the future, we're able to say, okay, what processes can be created around the things that I'm still doing that are repetitive. So that's exciting for me, because that means I can continue to move some things off my plate and not be in the day-to-day trenches of tax work going into even next tax season. So that's my hope anyway. But overall, if I was to give this tax season a grade, on your old, school grading system, I would give it right now, I would say a B, maybe a B minus, because there have been a couple of things that we've had to tweak. But I think overall, a strong B for this season. Now, it's not over yet, but it doesn't mean that it make it better. I mean, if we get everything done, and Sarah's the eternal optimist who says if the deadline is the 15th, we want to have it done the Friday before. And so for us this year, that means the 11th. So we're shooting to be done by the 11th so that we can kind of, take those last couple days and make sure everything is buttoned up. So I'll let you know in a future podcast if we hit that target. I'm hoping we can, but I know that means we are really going to be cranking some stuff out in the next few weeks. And I am going to follow up this episode probably with doing something relating to, what does a typical day look like for me during tax season? Because it is vastly different for me than a day when we're not in this very compressed, a lot of workload in a very compressed amount of time. And it changes things, but there's certain things in my world that I try not to change. I try not to change, the fact that I like to work out and trying to get enough sleep and all those things. But I'll save that for a future episode. But I just wanted to catch up with you. I know it has been a little bit since I have gotten on here on a podcast. That is the nature of this crazy busy season that I am trying so hard not to put, the production of this podcast on the sidelines during this busy season. And I'm better this year than I have been in the past 2 years. So I think I just have to keep it going. And I am going to try so that at this time next year, you will be having had consistency and not big gaps and absences and things. But I'm not going to give up because I really love doing this. So I'm going to try to make it a priority. So if you don't have your taxes done yet, please get them to your accountant. They are waiting for them and they are missing you. So please, we'd rather see it now than in a couple weeks. Much time as possible. So that is my shout out to those who don't have their taxes done yet. And really, that's all I wanted to update you on. Our tax season, we're doing pretty well. Solid B. All right, everybody. I'll talk to you next time.